What up, y'all? It's another Monday night. A little later than usual, but we here in the building. It's your boys, the Monarchs of Wrestling. And hey, we had a crazy weekend, and Playmaker been wanting to talk about something for a while. So we gonna
It's a lot of things. There's a lot of things I've been wanting to talk about. We just haven't been able to do it.
but you're gonna get one on the night. So we're switching up the format a little tiny bit tonight. We're going to first here discuss um, the Wrestlemania documentary. I'm going to flip that over to Playmaker, and he's going to talk to us about that.
So we got to see how this whole Cody Rhodes story actually culminated, how it all came together. And from what was said, it was penciled in Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes to begin the whole thing, you know. But when The Rock made his return, I believe that day one show, he wanted to test the waters and see what happened. That's the night when he said, so he sit at the table, so he sit at a bar, or so he sit at the head of the table. And I believe that was in San Diego, correct? If I'm not mistaken. They one took place in San Diego, right?
Yes.
And you got the reaction. So that was like, well, maybe this is the time to go Roman and Rock. Remember, that happened before the Royal Rumble. 4 weeks later, Royal Rumble happens. CM Punk gets hurt. Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble. Now you have another dilemma here. All right. Triple H says, I don't have nothing for Cody. I don't know which way we want to go. They have the thing with Cody and The Rock. We're going to go Rock and Roman for WrestleMania. That's when The Rock came out, when Cody Rhodes said, I want the title, but I'm not getting that WrestleMania. So that happens. Rock comes out. You get the same reaction that you got from day one. Everything's going good until it wasn't. People in the stands were happy to see The Rock and Roman go face to face. But the people watching at home wasn't happy. My co-host being one of them. So everything happens. Cody Rhodes is trending for 3 straight days. We want Cody. You have my co-host who voiced his opinion on this show very loud. You have Dale Grecker from Busted Open voice his opinion loud. And then here's the interesting part. It was The Rock who said, let's go Cody Roman. Have Cody finish the story. Because even though the marketing strategy was to bring in a whole lot of people, The Rock didn't like the fact that that section of fans were not pleased one bit. So thanks to Dave LaGreca and my co-host, thanks to you guys, that's how the Final Boss came about. So y'all are the reason that the Final Boss was created.
I want to also say Triple H made a really good point when he was talking about how, any other year but this year, Rock versus Roman would have been a great match to have. But they just tried to pick the one wrong year. You don't have Cody win that Rumble. I said it then, I'll continue to say it. You don't have Cody win that Rumble if he is not going to win the championship. And I want to jump ahead a little bit. We'll circle back to it, but I want to jump ahead a little bit and say, you can go back and listen to me. I said I wanted Cody to win. I didn't say Cody had to be champ for a year. I didn't say he had to be this magnificent champ, but he deserved the opportunity to get the championship. We'll talk about what's happening with him as champion in a bit when we get to regular WWE. I also wanted to quickly say I like The Rock's pivot, but my co-host eloquently put what he discussed. But one thing I wanted to add to that: the video of Rock versus Roman and them having to stare off and everything before all the fans, including myself, went crazy. If you go look, there's still the most disliked video on WWE's YouTube. So it wasn't just mouthy people like me. I'm not saying we weren't part of it, but it was also just regular people saying we're not going to have this and we're not going to deal with this.
Yeah, that's why I said the people at home didn't like it. The people in the arena loved it. It was the people at home that voiced that was like, nah, we're not flowing with this. And it was pretty much like Triple H said, and that's what The Rock said. Any other year but this year, because we are invested in Cody. We've been on this ride for Cody for 2 years. We want to see it pay it off. So, very interesting documentary how it goes. And then, for sure, we knew it was supposed to be CM Punk and Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. That was confirmed in the document.
I mean, that was pretty clear. But you put a lot of hope in the peanut brittle field, and we see what happens when you do that.
So that's why Seth Rollins got interjected into this storyline. But you did create history because night 1 did go into night 2. Literally. And then you saw we all witnessed what happened at WrestleMania up in Philly. So I enjoyed it. I don't know about you. I enjoyed it. I love seeing the backside story to this and how we got here. It was pretty much test the waters. And at the beginning, the crowd wanted both, but something had to give way. And Cody's story prevailed.
I mean, the documentary didn't tell me anything I didn't already know, me personally, and nothing I hadn't already said. But there may be a lot of people who maybe thought I was just blowing smoke through my ass of sorts. But there's a lot of things that I felt like this is the only reason you would do this. It's the only reason you do that, and that's what happened. And that's pretty much what they were saying behind the scenes. You have to be reactionary, and that brain trust did a good job of being reactionary.
Hey, well, like The Rock said in the document, the power went back to where it's supposed to go, to the people. Damien has. What does Damien say? Damien says, I don't see why everyone got pissed at The Rock for doing what he did. The match was supposed to happen since 2015. It wasn't his fault that Cody Big Melon had. When you have people invested in a storyline for that long and they know the payoff didn't happen yet, this is what's going to happen. Pretty much what The Rock and Triple H was doing, they were seeing where the crowd was at. So when The Rock first initially, the Rock and Roman, that thing blew up. So they was like, all right, sound like they want it. We going to go that way. Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble. And the fans was like, okay, wait a minute. Do we want Rock and Roman? Yes. But that guy there, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, has earned his right to finish the story. That's why Triple H said in the document, in any other year, you getting Rock and Roman. No questions asked. But the fact that how everything played out, CM Punk getting hurt, Cody winning Royal Rumble, fans made their voices heard, and like The Rock said, the power went back to where it's supposed to be with the fans. The fans spoke and said what they wanted. The Rock said we go that direction. Anything you want to say?
Nothing else I want to say. I do want to tell Damien, he made another comment that we'll read earlier, but I just want to tell him the challenge was from Chris Jericho, but MJF was the one that screwed Cody in AEW. The challenge should have never been made. It was a dumb storyline. And if you weren't going to put the belt on Cody in AEW, you should not have done that. That was stupid. I would like to say a couple more people here I'm going to shout out real quick from the comments. So we got Yolanda in the building. Yolanda says, hey, what up, Yolanda? Snowman says, hey, let's get it in, fellas. Appreciate you watching, Snowman. Damien with a what's up before the hateration starts. And then Daniel Berry with a yo, what's up, Daniel? Go ahead and reach out to Daniel to the comment. Why not? We're already here. He says, over others who worked their butts off because he couldn't win the AEW title. Maybe if he didn't accept the challenge from Jericho, he would be getting his story done. Well, let me remind you of something, Damien. How many people worked a Hell in a Cell match with a torn freaking pectoral muscle? Right. So when you say others worked their butts off, don't try to act like Cody didn't work his butt off too.
No, because fans would not be invested in Cody like that if he didn't work his butt off.
You need to go back and rewatch what you're talking about because you clearly don't have the correct understanding if you're going to try to sit here in this comment and say in any way, shape, or form that Cody didn't work his butt off to get there. The only time you didn't see Cody on TV was when he was out injured from the legitimate torn pectoral. So let's not even do that. And that's not me being a Cody fan. That's just, we're not going to do that to guys who come in and really work their butt off. And then we're going to come in and try to drive some sneak hate on them and try to have revisionist history. Let's not do that. You know, I'm cool with everybody's opinion. If you feel like other guys maybe deserve that spot, that's fine. But let's not try to say that Cody didn't work his butt off the time he could actually wrestle, because he did do that. Byron says, apparently WWE 2K25 is make or break. I haven't played a WWE 2K game. Not interested. They'll never get the money out of me.
I haven't played 2K since 19.
I don't like 2K games, period. I don't play anything 2K. Basketball, when they had basketball, I don't like 2K games. I don't like the mechanics and some different things, so I just don't play them. So as long as it's a 2K game, I would not be interested in it. You know, I can't speak for anyone else. But to me, when you say it went from being like the SmackDown versus Raw thing to the 2K games, I'm like, well, there goes my interest. I haven't bought one since then. Damien says, what's funny is after Cody finished the story, WWE pay-per-view then flops, laugh out loud with botches. Unless you're talking about botches in his match, you can't talk about that. Like, you can't say, oh, Damian Priest had botches, Jade had botches, that's Cody's fault. Also, let's not forget these are not Big Four pay-per-views that we've had, or let's use the correct terminology, premium live events since Cody's been champ. We haven't had a big one yet. The first big one we're going to have is SummerSlam. So let's not pretend the numbers on those other ones in between are ever as big as like a WrestleMania and those other ones. You can go back through history and look, none of those even really did well. Even some of the ones that Roman Reigns made his one-time appearances on. And let's remember, Roman Reigns was champ. One of the complaints that people like me had was he don't show up for every pay-per-view, and he didn't. At least Cody has the belt and he's actually there. Maybe the big problem is instead of Seth Rollins, we had Damian Priest. Maybe that's a big problem.
Now, anybody else? I see y'all commenting about WWE. We're going to come back to WWE, but we got to make sure our TNA fans and AEW fans, they get what they normally get.
Absolutely. But before we do that, we got to do this hit info. It's time for that first commercial break. We'll be back and we're going to get into it. Let's go.
Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying. But this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe. We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Bobby J and Wise El Jefe, Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing. Whether it's the men's college game,
The way that this season has been going, yeah, anything is possible.
the women's college game,
And how passionate Angel Reese was at that press conference, they got their mojo now.
the WNBA,
AJ Williams stood at 1 and 2, followed by Brittany Griner, Aaliyah Boston, Jackie Young.
or the NBA.
The Lakers had a 0.8 chance of winning. And then what happened in the fourth quarter? LeBron James by himself outdid the Clippers.
You will get any and all of the information right at your fingertips or your earlobes. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down all things basketball in Shooting Lights Out on the Playmaker's blog, network, YouTube channel, and where you can find podcasts. Hey, Eagles fan, join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast, every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets.
All right, good people, we back. Time to dig into a little TNA here.
Do me a favor though. Put a pin by AP's comment because that's one of the things I'm coming for when we get to WWE.
I got you. So in the opening match of the night, we had Trey Miguel versus Leon Slater, and NXT's Charlie Dempsey showed up and beat everybody down and got the match thrown out as a no contest. And the 6-man championship match is going to be at Slammiversary. Frankie Kazzarian defeated Mike Santana to qualify. Also, Joe Hendry defeated Jake Something to qualify because a lot of people believe in Joe Hendry. So those two guys.
Yeah, his thing gonna come back up later on too.
So he's kind of gotten into they've gotten into high profile spots on the card in that 6-man elimination match. Nic Nemeth, who's also a part of the match, was found attacked backstage, putting into question the ability to participate, even though it's not this weekend, it's next weekend, if I remember correctly. So he still has time to get, recover. There wasn't a lot of specific things that happened in TNA this week. They did a great job of just kind of pulling out some storylines. Your women's tag team champions, Masha Slamovich and Alicia, they call themselves Militia. They attacked the two ladies who were having like a 10-minute match between each other. They're a tag team. And then also you had a match with Matt Hardy. And now she's calling herself Rebecca Hardy. She's no longer Rebby Sky. But Rebecca Hardy now beat Alicia and her husband, who was part of the system, in a intergender tag match. So, yeah, not a lot as far as big, impactful moments in TNA, but things that made sense and finish up some storylines and set things up next week for, will Nic Nemeth be able to be in the 6-man elimination match? Will they have to use somebody else? Like, what's going to happen with that? Who's going to be the tag team? All those different things. So a couple of ways to go, but still being smart about it, to the fact of We still got a week to go before we really got to rev it up. So I'm anticipating a bigger rev up for them next week. Any thoughts on TNA Playmakers?
Nah. No. Their WrestleMania is coming up, so
It is.
For those of you who don't know, Slammiversary is TNA's WrestleMania.
Yeah. And that was AP. You want to make sure that we come back to?
Oh no! When we get to WWE,
Yeah. When we get to WWE, that's the one.
Yeah, when we definitely. Cause that's been the talk. That's been the talk.
I'll give it to, but yeah. So, not like I said, not a lot with TNA this week. So we're just gonna hop into AEW, and then we'll just do a little bit of a
before you do that. Help my sister out here because she has a question.
I miss her question. That's a good question. So she says, when does TNA come on and what network? So the TNA has their own app that you can find it on. Actually, let me look it up because I'm not gonna lie, Yolanda. What I do is I have an app that I can watch all the stuff on. So I'll just wait until after they go on live and then I watch them later. But let me see if I can pull up for you. You can watch it on Access TV or TNA Plus. And it comes on excuse me, y'all got a throat issue I've been battling with, but we can push through it. And you can find nights. So it was on July 4th this week. So was that Wednesday?
That was Thursday. 4th of July was Thursday.
No, Thursday. So it's Thursday. Yes, Thursdays. You can watch it on TNA, so you can watch it on Access TV. And it's at 8 p.m. Most people do watch it from what they say, at least on TNA Plus. The Access TV also has it. And like I said, if you have an app that you use to watch episodes of shows or go back and rewatch shows, you can find them on there afterwards too. Yeah, TNA is more difficult to find, a little bit more difficult to find. Look at Damien. And beat me to the punch.
That works.
But yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. All Elite Wrestling.
What happened to AEW?
The doctor, those of you who don't know, the doctor, Britt Baker, DMD, returned. And she was able to grab a mic to finally speak. No, I'm just going to cut right to the chase. She cut a motivation type promo. All right.
Baby faces to the teeth.
You know, she said what she went through and how can you persevere and get through it. You know, what the past means, what the now means, and what the future means, all that good stuff. And then I said something towards this a while back when Mercedes Monet first came in with her title CEO. And sure enough, who was there to welcome the double champion to Dynamite co-host? I just want to ask the question: is somebody from AEW secretly listening to Monarchs of Wrestling?
It does feel like it at times.
Because the EVPs out of all people was front and center to welcome the W champion Mercedes Monet to Dynamite.
Yes, they were.
Oh, we have the celebration already set for you, and it's up next. Go, guys, come on, let's get the balloons, let's get it going. Why Britt Baker is still in the ring, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Talk about
good.
And disrespect all in one. But
and they also teased Mercedes Monet joining the Elite.
Like that's like one of the main first things I said. Somebody in AEW secretly listening to us. They just don't want to come out and say it. Anyway, now they had a nice banter back and forth. Instead of me talking, I'm letting my co-host talk about it because he loves when two women have banters back and forth.
Yeah. Basically, you know, they went on different things. You know, Britt Baker leaning into her face persona. She's basically talking about how she's been there from the beginning. She was the first woman that signed. How she helped build up the division. You know, all those things. And basically mockingly was saying how like, oh, Mercedes Monet run things now. And then Mercedes Monet was reminding her that while she was out with whatever her injury was, because she wouldn't acknowledge the actual injury, because what else would have healed it? That, you know, she was here running stuff, and now she has 2 championships and she has none. And paraphrasing here a little bit, of course, but good back and forth, good word usage. They use some real life stuff to make the cut seem a little deeper, which I really do enjoy when they do this with the women, because it gives them an opportunity to be more than just eye candy, right? Women as eye candy. Listen, let's be honest. Guys like that, but you also like when they can start to build an intriguing story with the eye candy, and that eye candy can actually wrestle too. It's the total package of happiness for guys in wrestling. Just saying.
So yeah, looks like All In, we're gonna have a match. Is it gonna be for both titles? Is it gonna be for one title? Is the question. That's the question. But they are going at it All In, which is next month, by the way.
But the only reason why it may not be for a title at all is because, remember, Mercedes Monet told her there's a whole locker room full of those ladies that's been here, that's been wrestling. You need to get in the back of the line. So this could turn into a championship eliminator match, which would make it for one, probably the TNT championship. So if Britt Baker can beat her there, then she can get a title match in the future, which would be All Out. By my guesstimation.
Oh, that's why I bought it up. That's why I brought the pay-per-view up.
I got you. Because you got All Out, you got All In, then you got All Out. Or it might be vice versa.
The hell is that? I do believe the Owen Hart tournament is continuing, co-host.
Yeah, so we're down to the final 2 on each side. So on the women's side, Willow Nightingale and Mariah May will be fighting for the Owen Hart championship on the women's side on Dynamite. On the men's side, we are going to have the American Dragon Bryan Danielson and the new darker version of Hangman Paige that has officially quit the Elite, doesn't want anything to do with them, and is on his own, and he is on a mission to get a chance to face one Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So yeah, I don't like the finals being on a regular episode of television. To me, it devalues the Owen Hart tournament. Any tournament you have in the finals on a regular episode of Dynamite or Collision, I think it devalues it. If you want it to mean something, have it at a pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? Not just on a random episode of Dynamite or Collision. So if you're listening to this AEW, which it seems like you are, how about we start putting major things on pay-per-views? I get you want to have some championship matches or stuff on regular TV, and that's fine, but these Owen Hart tournaments and these different things that you have these tournament finals be on pay-per-views. That's really what should happen. So just plan a little bit better. Let's do this thing right.
Then we get to the main event of Dynamite. The they call the International Championship was on the line with Will Ospreay versus Daniel Garcia. And those of you who are sharp, yes, I did catch the ending of Dynamite. So yes, your boy watched some Dynamite this past week. But somebody was in Daniel Garcia's corner. That would be one Maxwell Jacob Freeman.
Which was gonna happen the whole night.
Which bug a question? Which bug? And I'm like, why? Like, something don't seem right. You know how I am. Cool. Like
I'm
the one to be like, that don't sound right. That don't look right. But all right,
Don't
okay,
sit
it's
right.
whatever. It's whatever. That's what y'all want to do. All right, cool. I'm gonna watch and see what happens. As you know, Will Ospreay was coming off his first ever AEW loss to Strickland for the AEW Championship. Now he's defending his title against Daniel Garcia. As usual, what I always say about AEW, they will give you the star-studded matches, which this was. That dude, Will Ospreay, is one of a kind.
Bruv.
He retained his title. And then you know what? I'm gonna do what I did in the chat, if you don't mind. Will the Will MJF please stand up? That man beat the brakes off with Daniel Garcia. He hit somebody else. I couldn't really tell who it was because it happened so fast.
Daddy, what you call it? Daddy Magic. Matt Menard.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
You said the new name he has, and I'm like, I'm not with that name. Like, I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, Daddy Magic, Matt Menard.
Now I busted both of them open,
and it was Magic Meat. That was quality, but other than that, this Daddy Magic thing is not a good look.
He busted both of them open with the diamond ring, the famous diamond ring.
And let's not forget that Diamond Reed played a massive part in Daniel Garcia losing. Also, MJF's fault.
So, while this was going on, I don't think Real Ospreay understood what was happening until he ended up coming running out, and MJF left and wanted to pick a fight with the fans, surprisingly. And pretty much how Dynamite went off the air. But we weren't done with AEW because we still had, well, nothing really noteworthy happened on Rampage. So we get to Collision. And now co-host somebody returned to face a former friend.
Oh, yeah. So we start off the show. MJF comes out, says how he was vulnerable for the fans. The fans turned on him and cheered for Samoa Joe when Samoa Joe beat him. And, you know, the heel stuff that you expect someone to do when they turn heel out of nowhere. He hates Daniel Garcia. Daddy Magic basically said, I'm not going to. Go ahead.
He said what happened to Daniel Garcia wasn't personal between him and Daniel Garcia. It was personal between him and the fans.
Yeah, typical heel stuff. It was a good promo. It was a good promo.
He took shots at Brub too.
Yeah, he took a lot of shots at Will Ospreay, but we already know that that's where this whole thing was leading when we saw what happened on Dynamite. We already know it was leading to him and Will Ospreay. He also took some shots at Daniel Garcia and told him he was never on his level, and there was no way he would have a match with him. He's a joke. And he stopped dancing and focused on being a wrestler. Like, he went in. He said the only way for AEW to get back on track is for him to be on top. And to do that, he had to do this. Like, he went in. And I'll give it to him. I like MJF as a heel more anyway. Right? And I love the black scarf he's got now. I like that too. A little bit of a darker character. So I like it. You know,
he legit went back to that scumbag MJF.
He went back to the scumbag, but he's an even darker version of the scumbag now. He took a shot at Swerve, like he always does. There'll be a reckoning between those two. If you ask me, if you really want to build Swerve, he wins the first match. Maybe lose to somebody else after that. But if you really want to build Swerve, have him beat MJF. MJF is probably going to end up beating the Bruv. Because he's back to being a dirty Bastard. So once he's that guy, it's hard to beat him. It's hard. But it'll be fun to try. It'll be fun. It'll be fun for us to see all of our favorite faces go up and get beat down. Then we had Marko Stunt come back, a member of Jurassic Park with the Jurassic Express, music on, to challenge one Jack Perry for the that's the TNT. TBS is the women. TNT is the men's championship. And he had a couple of good moves, but we know what's going to happen. He met up backstage later with Luchasaurus. They had a little back and forth, but not really a lot happened on there, right? But I will say this. Rampage looked a lot better as a show than it has the last couple of weeks. There were things on there that make you watch, and you actually felt like you got some quality program. By the last month and a half, it's been straight trash, except for one match or so. They actually kind of carried some of the stuff over. MJF being there was a good move. That's one of the guys, if you want to have him come on both shows when he does something despicable on the other one, that makes sense. But still, some separation is good because you don't have a redundancy of everybody. They did a better job this week, a much better job.
All right, so that would do it for AEW. Commercial break. And then we'll get into what everybody's been waiting on. The weekend that was up in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
It was wild. We'll be back.
Join Ryan McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kermit the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green. And the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
As they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on YouTube and where you can find podcasts. Rams fans all around the world.
It's a beautiful thing to be a Rams fan right now. Stafford's back. We will see about Cup. And running back Kazzarian Williams to return.
Lend me your ears, or should I say lend Playmaker your ears, as he breaks down week by week everything in the Los Angeles Rams canon.
Number 99, Aaron Donald. Can't wait for 2029 to come to know that you are going in the Hall of Fame, and it should be first ballot, no questions asked.
Join the Playmaker as he breaks down everything Los Angeles Rams style in Ramily Talk on the Playmakers Blog Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts. Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered the winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text. Delete!
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on the Sertoba Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels. Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do two circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Base YouTube channel.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Monarchs of Wrestling programming note. Shooting Lights Out episode. The latest episode happened today. Check that out. Historical weekend in the WNBA. Speaking of weekend, Toronto had a hell of a weekend as well. Money in the Bank, NXT Heatwave, and I guess we need to start with Money in the Bank, right?
I would believe so, sir.
All right, so Money in the Bank opened up with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. You had a main event, Jey Uso, yeet. You had Andrade El Idolo. You had somehow still chugging along the way, Master Chad Gable. You had him, Carmelo Hayes. You had L.A. Knight, and you had Drew McIntyre. Now, here's what happened. A lot of crazy stuff happened in this match. And just when you thought Jey Uso was going to be yeet in the bank, Drew McIntyre threw another ladder at Jey Uso, which took him out, and Drew McIntyre captured the briefcase. I was going to give you synopsis of that. Co-host, anything you want to talk about that happened in that match?
Remember I said, Drew wins that match. Drew's going to win Money in the Bank.
He was in the match.
I didn't want that, but I knew that they would do that. I was very disappointed with how the whole thing played out. And you know what? Even though we're not there yet, I'll go ahead and have that comment ready for you when we get there. And then we'll go back to the other ones. So I'll make sure we talk about that comment.
Oh, yeah. I didn't forget the comment. I did not forget the comment. That was match one. Match two was the Intercontinental Championship match between Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker finally got the match that he wants. First of all, Braun Breaker is different. That's like the best way I can put it. He's different. You should not be able to be that size and do a Frankenstein from the top rope with that ease.
You also shouldn't lose cleanly to Sami Zayn if you're that good.
That was an interesting take on that one. You have people that like you, and you have other guys. You have some people who, you know, I'll say understand the WWE way, and that we'll say that Braun Breaker didn't earn it, so it was the right decision.
I don't care they didn't get the belt. The execution was piss poor. The execution was worse than a 2-year-old executing it. That was piss poor. That's the issue. I don't care if he won. I don't care if he walked out with the championship. I don't care if he won the match, but he shouldn't have been pinned cleanly. That was trash. That was hot doo-doo garbage juice in the bottom of the trash can that's been sitting there for over a year. That's what whoever came up with that producer, you sucked.
So you think this hurts him?
It doesn't help him to get pinned, to be an unstoppable juggernaut and then get pinned by Sami Zayn clean.
I mean, he is the champion. Like, can we put some credibility on this man's name? He's the champion.
No. He's still Sami Zayn. He looks like he works at the local car wash.
And speaking of which, I'm expecting the same energy when I get to the main event, because I'm pretty sure what happened in the main event, he didn't like either. So I'm glad I got this up first.
This was a pay-per-view for execution purposes, but for some of the things they actually did, piss poor.
So that took place, and that happened. Then we got to the World Heavyweight Championship. I was wondering what this was going to be on the card. This was third on the card. You want to have 5 matches. Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest. If Seth Rollins loses, he can never get a title match as long as Damian Priest is champion. If Seth Rollins recaptures the World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest leaves Judgment Day. Interesting wrinkle in this match because now we have to figure out which way they're going. Even though me and my co-host figured one way. But before I get to that, the main thing that people look at, and Triple H brought this up during the press conference, is people gonna remember the 3 count that wasn't called. Now, there's a lot of speculators saying it's because Damian Priest didn't kick out on time. It's because Drew McIntyre music didn't hit on time. Whatever the case may be, what was a 3 count didn't happen to be a 3 count. Anything on that part? Not anything else on that specific part. Okay.
Nope.
Drew McIntyre music hit, which he did say he was going to win Money in the Bank and he was going to catch on the same night, which he basically did. Turning into a triple threat match. In about, let me think, about 2 minutes in, I guess you sold up.
Peanut brittle feel.
Let's start beating up on Drew McIntyre. Beat him up pretty darn good enough where when Drew McIntyre got back in the ring, he was a victim to a South of Heaven choke slam where Damian Priest was able to retain the title. Here's the kicking part. A lot of people are mad about the whole Drew McIntyre winning Money in the Bank and cashing it in on the same night and failing to cash in because CM Punk and all this stuff. What most people fail to realize, it was a double whammy that happened. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to go ahead and say this now because this is what we both believe. But until after SummerSlam, who can't get a World Heavyweight title match?
Seth freaking Rollins.
And who fault is that again?
Peanut brittle feel. Well, technically, it's Drew McIntyre's fault because had he not inserted himself into their match, Peanut brittle feel would have never came out.
People don't look at it that way. People ain't gonna look at it that way.
They may not, but that's the truth.
They're gonna look at it, Drew McIntyre had every right to put himself in that match.
And Phil and Peanut brittle Phil had every right to come out and beat the dude ass who put him on the stretcher a couple of weeks ago too. So I mean, it's
in his hometown, by the way.
It's semantics. Like Drew McIntyre introduced him and CM Punk to their situation.
Remember, not only did
Seth Rollins if Drew McIntyre wasn't there.
Not only did Drew McIntyre beat him up in his hometown of Chicago, he took his bracelet and then used the bracelet in his promos.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all forget how all this came about? Then he said, CM Punk may not be here, but his family is always with me, right? Didn't he say that?
He did. And just to make sure that we highlight AP's comment while we were talking about it, AP said, I don't understand Drew winning the case just to lose it under an hour. Are we building a Priest versus Gunther or Rollins versus CM Punk versus Drew?
Be doing both. Me and Cool always said it's gonna be Priest versus Gunther at SummerSlam. We said that ever since Gunther won the King of the Ring. It was gonna be him versus Priest. So we said that from Jump Street, and we did not change course even when Seth Rollins came back. Where everybody's like, oh, Seth, like, dude, Seth Rollins just came back. You're gonna put the belt on him for a month. That's to lose to Gunther. You're not gonna do that to a guy like Seth. That's what you're not gonna do that. Now remember, it wasn't Drew McIntyre who was the first one to go after CM Punk when he returned at Survivor Series. Seth Rollins was the first one. You know why y'all probably don't know that? Because y'all didn't see that. This happened after Survivor Series went off there. Corey Graves, Michael Cole, I forgot who else, had the whole self back. Because the only thing Punk did was just stand there to let everybody know he's back in WWE. And Seth wanted to go at him after he just got out of a freaking War Games match.
Seth Andrew. And who are we rolling back around to? Seth Andrew.
Long-term story telling. Now, y'all mad because Money in the Bank was cashed in but failed. Here's the thing. WWE already had what they wanted for SummerSlam. How can we get there? Gunther, I'm just going to say, Gunther's beating Damian Priest at SummerSlam. In my opinion. I'm just going to tell you that now. But what are we going to do with Drew McIntyre? What are we going to do with CM Punk? And what are we going to do with Seth Rollins since he returned? And remember, nobody thought Seth Rollins was going to return as quickly as he did from the injury that he had.
Right. He probably would have lost the belt if they thought that.
For once, guess what? And another thing that y'all haven't realized, which is the next match. Now the focus ain't on the men's Money in the Bank winner. It's focused on the women's now. Because guess what? For once in a long time, the person who won the women's Money in the Bank didn't cash in on the same night. So now we get to have fun. And speaking of the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, Tiffany Stratton, Lada Valkyria, Io Sky, Zoe Starks, Naomi, and the crowd favorite, Chelsea Green. Now, how did you feel about this match? Because there's a lot of mixed feelings about this match.
The lack of established, very athletic women was very clear in this match. I don't like the winner. I think it's too early for her. I think she'll do great things. I just don't like the timing for her winning the championship. Winning the contract. She does have a year to cash in. So she has time to build herself up more. But there's a couple of other people who I felt would have been given a better boost had they won it. But I don't hate her winning it. My only big argument is the amount of time she's been on the main roster. That's the main thing for me. She's athletic. She's very beautiful. So, none of those things are issues. She's not a charisma vacuum like Zoe Stark. But so I don't have a problem with her winning. I just don't like your first Money in the Bank match.
So basically, let's put it like this: you have some skepticism of her being it now, without fully established.
Yes, I don't have a problem with her winning, but just that I think they should have gave her more of an opportunity to be established before she won.
Maybe that's why she got the Money in the Bank country, because he's not fully established there, and she has the time to get established. Because remember, a lot of things what people didn't like was the women who won it, they catch it in on the same day, so you don't have the tease of having a women's Money in the Bank winner.
Right, and then also they're just gonna basically do the same thing they did with Damian Priest with her to an extent. So she'll build herself up while she has the briefcase. But like I said, I would have liked to see Io Sky win it, and then not Io Sky, but I would have liked to see Dakota Kai win, because then all of the adult size members of their faction would have won it.
And those of you who wanted Chelsea Green win, Chelsea Green got the hometown bump.
Chelsea Green died at the end of that match.
She got the hometown bump. You're front of your home crowd, so you'll be one of the main two with the extra opportunity to capture the briefcase. So I think a lot of people didn't like the amount of bumps these women took, because they took some hella bumps.
It's Money in the Bank.
Because I was like, I thought the men was trying to kill themselves. These ladies are legit trying to kill themselves. Because good gracious.
I mean, my thing is it's Money in the Bank. Like, what do you want to do?
I think the bumps were uncomfortable to watch. Maybe.
I don't have it for them.
I didn't either.
But maybe some people did.
So that's how that works. So Tiffany's time is Tiffany in the Bank. So I'm looking forward to how this progresses. I got that one right. And it was a certain person was in the chat right now. I'm probably sure he would probably be throwing some type of emojis in the chat, but he ain't here. So, and then we get to the main events. I was kind of surprised. First of all, I was surprised it was the main event. I don't know about you, but I was surprised it was the main event. I would like the World Championship to have been the main event, but like that was the main title being defended. But you had the face of the company there, so I guess that trumps that. Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton versus the Bloodline, featuring Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu. I'm just going ahead and say it. Jacob Fatu, MVP of Money in the Bank. Plain and simple. WWE might have struck gold with Jacob Fatu. Now, since I got that out the way, let me get to the part that I think my co-host didn't like. Remember we talked about earlier when Braun Breaker got pinned cleanly by Sami Zayn? Well, Solo pinned Cody Rhodes to get the win. If I know my coach like I think I do, I don't think he liked it that so much. The champion, the one getting the pin.
So it's the only way to set up the match for SummerSlam. It's the only way.
That was my thoughts exactly.
I wasn't a huge fan of it, but there was no other choice. And I want to say they have made Damian Priest look like the weakest world heavyweight champion I remember. So I think he's going to lose to Gunther as well because they have done nothing to build him up.
When that finish happened, I say, okay, so now you have officially told me Solo, Cody, SummerSlam. Which I am here for. Now, let me inject a little SmackDown into this because I caught this part. I'm pretty sure a lot of people did, but with everything that's happening in WWE right now, you probably forgot. Before Money in the Bank on Friday Night SmackDown, to close out Friday Night SmackDown, by the way, Solo had a promo. And he mentioned Roman Reigns. So, now this is going to go on record here. We both believe Cody Rhodes is retaining at SummerSlam. He's not losing. But is that the opportunity for Roman Reigns to return and confront his cousin? Because his cousin called him out. That is the question that I have. Because now the gauntlet has been thrown by Solo. Go ahead.
Possibly. It would make a lot of sense if he was able to do that. Right? It would make a lot of sense if Roman came out and gave Solo the business. After Solo did that.
So Solo pretty much built two storylines in one promo. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Now, if y'all listen to rumors and stuff, there's a lot of more members of this Hawaiian family that could be on their way to WWE. So Bloodline ain't going nowhere no time soon. So we are going to see when Roman comes back. We believe Roman, he ain't coming back alone. He is not coming back alone. Who's coming with him? Okay. That's the question that I have. Anything you want to add?
I think it could be Lance and Hikuleo could come back with him.
Interesting. Very interesting here. So now, with Raw coming up in about 18 minutes from now. Oh, before I get to that, I almost forgot. Drew McIntyre was suspended indefinitely. We know what the minute indefinitely means. But as a journalist, Drew McIntyre was suspended indefinitely for the fact that he wanted to cause havoc during the post show and elbow Adam Pearce in the mouth for causing a disturbance. Do you like what happened?
Yes, I do. Drew McIntyre has to be full of rage and hate right now.
For obvious reasons, but suspending definitely just ensures that when CM Punk is actually clear for competition, we know what's coming down the pipe. I'm pretty sure he's close to being clear because we don't have him come out there and just beat the brakes off Drew McIntyre the way that he did. If he's not healing and progressing in a way that you expect it to. So now, I wonder if Drew McIntyre is still going to show up on Raw tonight. Because he is that type of dude. Looking forward to hearing what Seth Rollins has to say. Maybe Seth Rollins opens the show and calls out CM Punk.
Possibly.
By the way, CM Punk was fine. A healthy amount along with Drew McIntyre as well. So I'm looking forward to tonight's show. Oh, and by the way, we have a mixed tag team match tonight. My partners love this. Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega versus Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan.
My partner, he liked them cupcakes. Them pancakes, excuse me. I like the cupcakes. He liked the pancakes in his match.
What did I tell you in the chat?
What did I tell you?
I do not want to see them two. The only reason why they put Zelina Vega in there because she's part of the LWO. When is Mommy coming back?
Good question.
I'm ready for this to be over with.
Will it be over with when Mommy gets back?
Well, no, but it'll make it more interesting for me though. Oh, and by the way, congratulations to Mommy and Buddy Murphy tying the knot. Make sure we give our congratulations when they are due.
Yep, old emo cakes.
And I know my sister put a question in the chat, and I remember the question, so you don't have to go find it if you don't want to. But I can tell you this: how do you feel about Jade Cargill at this moment in time? Because there are concerns about the wrestling ability of the star.
I don't have the concerns that some people have because I never expected Jade Cargill to go down. Actually, here's the comment if you want to read it, then I'll give you my answer.
Speaking about eye candy and knowing how to wrestle, Jay in trouble. But I'm waiting till we get to WWE before I comment on anything.
I never expected Jade Cargill to be a very good technical wrestler at this point in her career. She's there for power moves, sex appeal, and
Emphasis on the sex appeal.
yeah, and also she has a 5 moves of doom moveset at this point. I mean, you got John Cena all the way to what some people consider the GOAT of the sport. And John Cena didn't have a lot of moves either. So the botches are the botches. She's a lot bigger and stronger than some of the other women that she's going against. So that for those of you who may not understand, it's harder to go against somebody that there's a big size difference, either good or bad. If you're the smaller wrestler or the larger wrestler, it's more difficult. If you're going to get somebody closer to your size, like her against Bianca, I don't think would have a lot of issues. Like her against somebody like Rhea Ripley, I don't think there'd be a lot of issues with botches because they're closer to size, so you can kind of gauge things a lot better. It's an experience thing, right? Now, if she's doing the same thing next year this time, then there's concern. Like we want to make the dirt sheets, and us want to make it a big issue that Jade has had some botches. A lot of people have had botches in the same time, but we're not pointed out because it's not Jade. And Jade doesn't have a botch at everything she does. She's had a couple of botches, but it's not like every match Jade is in, there's a botch. But we want to try to. That's the picture that's being painted. Y'all are not gonna do Thunder Cakes like that. Y'all need to stop your mess. But she does need to improve, and hopefully she is working on improving what she needs to improve.
There's my sister, right what I said. I'm gonna let you take it. Oh boy. Just things happen. That's all I can say. Things happen. And the thing is, I'm happy that Triple H is in charge because Triple H is not. He ain't showing. He's keeping it calm. Like things happen. These things happen. So let her continue to work, get better. And we'll get there. You say a year time, right? A year time. So I'm with that. Now, I say the best for last with the final 10 minutes we got. Somebody made a return appearance at Money in the Bank and said 2025 will be my last year as an in-ring competitor. Those of you who might have been living under a rock this past weekend, that would be the one aforementioned John Cena. It was awkward at first because we had Trish Stratus out there. Thank you, Triple H, for having Trish Stratus there for the weekend. You, sir, you did me a great justice. Those of you who don't know, don't worry about it. Those of you who do, those that do know, you know. Now, yes, the ageless one. She does not age. Yes, Lord. Anyway, it was awkward at first because we're trying to figure out, okay, when Trish tried the music here, I'm like, okay, she probably gonna do the attendance thing like they normally do, right? No, she was going on talking about stuff and she talked about retirement, and I'm like, okay. John Cena pops out. First of all, what is you doing at Money in the Bank anyway? Then he makes the announcement that he's retiring. And then he said he'll answer all questions at the press conference. He was there for a good 30 minutes because he would not stop taking questions, and they were trying to get him to stop. And just like our brother from this morning, Cole Johnson, WrestleMania will not be his last match. The man has confirmed he has about 30 to 40 days on there currently, and he's looking to add more. So he's trying to compete the entire year of 2025 before he hangs it up as an in-ring competitor. Hopefully they cleared it up.
What a lot of people try to do is when he said that this was going to be his last WrestleMania, they tried to spin that into he said that was going to be his last date. I was like, he never said that. He just said this was going to be his last WrestleMania.
It's going to be his last Warrior Rumble. It's going to be his last WrestleMania. It's going to be his last Money in the Bank. It's going to be his last SummerSlam. It's going to be his last Survivor Series. Every PLE John Cena is going to be a part of in 2025 is going to be his last. So, with that being said, what are you looking forward to on the how he put it on the shirt? The last time is now.
I'm looking forward to seeing how many colors we're going to have for the last time is now shirt between now and the end of next year. I'm going over under 5, and I'm going with the over.
For the first time in Monarchs of Wrestling history, we have an over under. And it's the number of color shirts John Cena will have on his final run.
Yes. And I'm going with 5 as the over under, and I'm going over.
And he's going over 5 different color shirts. This is the last time is now John Cena shirts.
Oh, they're gonna milk that. They're gonna milk that bad boy like old cow that's about out of milk. They're gonna get every last drop.
Oh my gosh. I want to see how they plan this out. I really want to see how they plan this out. Because we're talking with John Cena. He hasn't fought. I say he probably fought probably 15-20% of the roster. This means we can tell some interesting stories with John Cena on this last run.
And it doesn't have to be about championships.
And remember, somebody asked him about that too, because he's a 16-time champion, and you knew that Christmas was coming. Are you going to break the record on your last run? He's like, dude, I don't know how you noticed, but I've been on a losing streak. I can't even remember the last time I won a match. So now the other question is, who's going to be the first one that starts John Cena's winning streak?
Because it's coming.
Oh, it's coming. Trust, believe it is coming. Who's going to be the first one? Well, we knew some rivalries, CM Punk, Randy Orton. Maybe CM. Will we get a Cody Rhodes and a John Cena matchup? There's throwing some names out there. Ooh. I wonder if Logan Paul feels some type of way and want to throw his name in that hat. You know how Logan Paul is.
Of course.
What if they do Braun Breaker and John Cena? Ooh, what if that could be his final WrestleMania match?
I'm just saying, you lost to Sami Zayn, so you can lose anybody now.
Damian did bring up one that did beat John Cena at WrestleMania. Austin Theory. Let's run that back. Y'all get prepared when Monday Night Raw moves over to Netflix. The farewell tour of John Cena begins.
Oh, and by the way, shout out to Real Wise Radio. We are live on Real Wise Radio. You can listen to us now on there live, as well as 502 Angel Radio.
Now, before we close here, I'm going to have some fun because Damien threw a comment in the chat earlier in the show that I peeped my eye on.
Want to go over Heatwave right too? Don't forget to go over Heatwave.
Oh no, matter of fact, I'm glad you said it. Let's go to Heatwave right now. Kalani Jordan defended her title, retained it. NXT Tag Team Champions, they retained. Roxanne Perez showed her vicious side to retain. And she got a business side of her. I did not expect that. Actually, I should have, because that's about every woman in WWE that's that short have a vicious side for some reason. But she showed it, and Lola Vice took like 5 finishers. 5. That's how badly Roxanne did not want to lose that title. Very okay. But we don't have it, but if we did, if I was thinking, I would have asked Cole Johnson for that thing. But to the sadness of myself and the co-host here of Monarchs of Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, the Whoop That era is over. In the Fatal 4-Way match, Trick Williams gave it a decisive blow. And all ego, Ethan Paige, became the new NXT champion.
Didn't even know he was champion. He became champion.
That's why I said it like that. Trick Williams gave it the decisive blow.
Sean Spears.
The Whoop That era is over, bro. This is over.
I want to tell everybody, including my co-host, the Whoop That era is not over. We're just having a brief intermission in the middle of the Whoop That era.
You can put it like that.
Because it's coming back. But I want to say I knew WWE would be the first of the 3 major companies to get the belt off the person of color. I knew that would be WWE.
You see it that way, Damien sees it another way. So, maybe both of y'all are right. So, is it a subtle shot at AEW? Because Ethan Paige wasn't really using AEW, to be honest. So he is now the champion. That is what a lot of people said, Damien. A lot of people do believe Trick is coming up to the main roster. I don't know if this is the right timing for that, personally. I don't know if that's the right timing, but hey. Dude, that pay-per-view was almost 6 hours long. We only got to reiterate that because my co-host came right on here and went off on AEW for that long pay-per-view.
AEW know better.
And because guess what? A lot of the matches weren't even pay-per-view worthy matches. You don't got to rehash that. You can go back to last week's episode and listen to my co-host.
Yep.
You can listen to my co-host go off on that.
Yeah, see, last week we talked about that trash.
So, as we get ready to close it out here, hope y'all enjoyed this. The road to SummerSlam officially begins, and let's see what Seth Rollins has to say to CM Punk tonight. Go ahead, take us home.
You share all the comments. Again, forgive me, I got a little throat troubles, but push through it. Shout out Real Wise Radio. Shout out 502 Angel Radio. And always remember, tell 4 of your people that like you, 4 of your people that don't. Just because they do or don't like you, they should still like us. And it's never where you start, my good people. It's always where you finish. Make sure you share this with your friends. If you watch on any platform other than on the Real Play College YouTube channel, make sure you go over and like, share, and subscribe there. Also, Playmaker Sports Blog. Give Playmaker some love as well. Shady Sports, all the people, man. Let's let everybody grow. We out. And we will get back with you next week with more scintillating Monarchs of Wrestling content.
Deuces.